Larry, you've said many times, obviously, that it didn't matter how many targets you were getting, your preparation was the same in terms of, how you went out about your business during the game and whatever they needed you to do. I'm curious, is the preparation now any different than it might have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago with how you do things?
No, nothing's changed.
Hey, Larry, what kind of teammate has Justin been in terms of in the locker room, how he's related to other guys, how he's kind of taking guys under his wing, stuff like that?
Justin's been a fantastic teammate. Since he got here from New York a few years ago, he's been, one of the more vocal guys. Willing to get guys together and do things. Always keep the group, as a cohesive unit. I have a lot of respect for Justin, and I'm really happy he's a teammate here, and he's been playing really good ball too. So, hopefully we can just keep him healthy and keep this offensive line together because they're a really strong unit.
Larry, when you see a guy like Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson, what they're doing at that age, and maybe he's alternating with Le'Veon Bell, but for a running back to be in the league as long as he has, what does that say?
Well, it's a testament to their work ethic and their desire to continue to get better. They continue to find ways to reinvent themselves when people say that they can't do it or they're too old or running backs are not able to produce at this age with this kind of mileage, and they don't subscribe to that type of thought process. And it's important that you always have that belief in yourself, and you see both of those guys still carrying on the same way they always have. You ask them what they did 5 years ago, it would probably be the same thing that they're doing today. They don't change the way they approach the game mentally, physically, and psychologically based on the results or what other people think or say about you. You just got to do it the way you know you can do it and the way that's been successful for you in the past.
I'm sorry, next three. Greg Moore, Bob McManaman, Catherine Fitzgerald.
Larry, good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good to see you too.
I'm wondering, man, if you could tell me the story of your first ever touchdown. I've been hearing you say lately that you started playing football when you were 6. And I'm just trying to figure out, when guys kind of fell in love with the game. And I was just thinking about some of those early moments. Do you remember your first ever touchdown back in Pee Wee?
I don't remember my first touchdown, but I do vividly remember my first practice. My dad was strongly against me playing football too early, just because of the injuries he sustained, playing. He was trying to protect us, as kids. And my dad would often travel to cover, the Minnesota Twins, when they were playing, even the Indians or the Tigers or the White Sox, teams that are in the division. And I remember my dad was on a trip, 4-day trip to Chicago to cover the White Sox Twins series, and I was on my mom begging her to take me to practice. Maybe I won't even play, but just let me go practice. And she just took us when my dad was gone against his will. And my dad got home, and he ended up he got home in time enough to be able to come and watch me practice. And he saw how much fun I was having and the camaraderie and the natural leadership and, me being able to go out there and be productive and be one of the better players on a team that was like a year or two kids older than me, but I was big enough to go out there, and he saw that excitement, and he was like, you know what, I can see he loves it, I can see he wants to do it, and he's passionate about it, and that kind of changed his thought process. So I do remember that practice.
Larry, with all the extra protocols being put into place this week following the situation with the Titans, how close are you guys keeping a tab on that, and what's it going to feel like if we have to start canceling or forfeiting games?
Well, we're no different. You're not immune to, what's going on out in the world. There's been millions of people who have contracted this virus. The President of the United States, and the First Lady and many people in the White House who are, they have access to the very, very best of the best technology, resources, doctors, precautionary measures, and it wasn't even good enough to keep them safe. And so the NFL and us players are no different, and the NFL is doing a great job of doing what they can to mitigate the exposures that we have. But there's nothing foolproof about this. There's so much that we don't understand, we don't have knowledge about, and we continue to learn day to day. So all we can do is follow the precautionary measures and just hope and pray that we can continue to keep playing. But if things change. We just got to roll with the punches.
Hey, Larry, with getting Budda Baker back this week, I know obviously you're not with him for as much as practice, but were there any moments today or yesterday, either a play he did, just some energy he brought that was a tangible, like, okay, Budda's back and here's an impact it's having for us in practice?
Nobody means more to this football team than Budda Baker, and you can take that to the bank. I mean, the guy plays the game, the right way. He works at it the right way, the way he's wired mentally as a teammate. He's approachable. Anybody can go talk to him. Doesn't matter what your salary is or what your status is on the team. He's humble. He's level-headed. He plays through injury. He plays the game of football like he's 6'4", 280 pounds. The way he flies around and how selfless he is. If he's asked to cover, if he's asked to blitz, if he's asked to do whatever, play different positions, he knows it all. This guy is, the best of the best, as a human being, as a football player, as a teammate. And I love him. I know his teammates all feel the same way about him, and we're very privileged to have him back on the field with us.
We will wrap it up with Tressa, Josh, and Bob.
Hi, Larry. My question was actually on Budda Baker, but I think you just answered it, so thank you.
Hey, Larry. We've talked to DeAndre a couple times the last few weeks about how he's kind of a student of history, especially Black history, reads a lot. Have you had any conversations with him? What are those conversations been like? What have you learned about him when you're talking about that stuff?
I haven't had many conversations with him about it. We did have some group discussions earlier in the year when we were doing virtual meetings, and we kind of dived into a little bit of his family history in Clemson. But I'm not sure he's comfortable with me divulging what we talked about in those private meetings. I'm pretty sure you can ask him some of those questions. I don't feel comfortable discussing it personally.
Larry, I asked Kyler if Sunday's a must-win game. He said yes, but every game is must-win to him. Let me put the question to you. After these two losses, is this a must-win game in Week 5?
Yeah, I believe so. You look at the leaders in our division. Seattle is 4-0 right now, and they're rolling. We have to be able to find a way to get back on the right track. We got another road game. We're going across the 3 time zones to play. And we got to find a way to put 4 quarters of good football together on all 3 phases, and it's as simple as that. We need to be able to keep pace with the Rams and other teams who are playing really good in our division. So yeah, it is definitely a must win.